I'm Steve.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and give a little movie review on the Minecraft movie, which I think Justin, I should say this is editor Justin, for those who remember him from some of our previous podcasts last year. He's the one who's all about the memes. And I got to tell you, I think we haven't talked much beforehand yet, but I think we have very differing opinions on the Minecraft movie from different angles. Now, I think this falls perfectly in line with our whole product this year of gaming my way to 50 as I turn 50 in December and looking back on 50 years of gaming and entertainment, because we've basically been there for every single video game movie release, starting with the original Super Mario Brothers. I remember specifically on that was the first movie I ever had my own money to go to a theater and buy a ticket. And I was excited, and not so much after the movie was over. Video game movies are generally not ones that tend to do well. Sonic recently has been an exception. The occasional Mortal Kombat movie, that's always hit or miss. But for the majority of our lives, we've had the duds like Super Mario Brothers, Street Fighter the movie, Double Dragon. And some people are going to say, well, what about Tron? And you got to remember, Tron was a movie first and then a game. I had to actually Google that because I forgot. Let's talk about the Minecraft movie, because I went in as very much like Jason Momoa's character, the more than middle-aged adult who still loves his games and his collections and lives in that world. No kids, as you went with your family of 106, or what is it, 7 that
Plus
you
or
have
minus
now?
99, yeah.
So you saw it from the family perspective. I saw it just from, okay, it's a gaming movie, and I honestly haven't played Minecraft.
It's been 84 years.
I actually, last time I recall playing it was with Travis, who's been on our podcast before, because at the time his youngest son was a Minecraft junkie. And when Uncle Mike would come over, he wanted nothing more than me to spend the whole time watching him build things and blow up chickens and all that. I knew enough about it to, I think, appreciate what they were trying to do. The movie came out, and honestly, I went in not wanting to hate it, but expecting it to be just bad. And I actually think they did a rather decent job of taking a game that really is about making whatever your imagination can think of and turning it into a basic story that still had all the moving parts that kids want to see. Mm-hmm. They gave Jack Black for the dads to laugh at. They gave Jason Momoa for the moms to watch. One thing, we're going to talk about the storyline, the characters, and little bits we picked up here and there. So we'll try and avoid spoilers, although to that end, there's not a whole lot to spoil because it's Minecraft. So the basic storyline you get is Jack Black, for some reason, as a kid, is interested in mines. Flash forward to now he's living a dead-end job, but he's always thinking about building and creating things. And if you noticed, he's still wearing the exact same outfit as an adult that he was as a kid, just obviously a larger size. You know, he finds this cube, he goes into the mine, it opens up the portal to the Minecraft world, and now he can build. But I liked how they touched on aspects of the gaming world. Like, and then at night, which happened every 20 minutes or so, these creatures would come out. I like how they threw stuff in there. It's a gaming thing, right? We know game cycles aren't 24 hours. The story was fine. I think it touched on a lot of what happens in the game lore, but it was simple. There's no deep dive here. There's no big, hoopla about we're going to build castles to the sky. And it becomes like an afterthought, I think, in the movie, which is kind of disappointing.
I mean, yes, there was a story. It was very light, but I didn't feel much for the story. But I went into it with no expectations. I didn't really know much about Minecraft. So I didn't leave hating it, but I didn't leave liking it. I just kind of left. Okay. I think for me, the best part of the movie was the experience of everyone around me.
So you had like a full theater.
We had a pretty full theater for our little town.
We need to get a couple of still shots of Jason Momoa's store and look at all the stuff they had on there, because that was legitimately set up by somebody who cared about classic gaming. They had original Pac-Man and Donkey Kong board games. They had video game consoles. They had a whole bunch of stuff. We could probably sit here for an hour just going through stills and looking at all the stuff they set up there just for a few shots. So, I mean, but look, obviously, guy in his 40s, grew up gaming, doesn't let it go. I can get behind Jason Momoa's character, other than the muscles too, because that's
they were. I thought they were a little weak. I mean, compared to us, he wasn't quite as jacked, but
I think now you're the guy with the film credits under his belt. I'm the guy who produces the bad content. Like your shirt says, you fix it in post and try and make me seem decent. The CG in this movie went between good and do you remember Nick Arcade in the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
Where the kids would be in front of the green screen, like looking at the monitor and then trying to tag stuff and grab coins. It felt like at sometimes it was so off. At other times it felt like they were surrounded by the Minecraft world. So it kind of took me in and out of it. But overall, I think for a whole thing based on voxels and blocks, I think they did a good job of representing the world and throwing in enough jokes about it's a sphere, but it's a cube. No, but it's the sphere of power, but it's square. Like people understand what circles are. I get it. It would be like being in the world of Minecraft, I think. So it wasn't horrendous, but yes, storyline, not a whole lot. But the characters, this is where I think you're going to love or hate the movie because I've listened to some other reviews both before and after I saw the movie. And one common thing I heard of a complaint was about Jack Black. That everything Jack Black is doing is hyper and it's in your face and it's loud and it's exaggerated, which is, anybody remembers, that's Jack Black from 20 years ago in Tenacious D. Yeah. A lot of this movie to me felt like it could be a bit in a Tenacious D video. And there's at least 3 sections where Jack Black does a jingle or the closing credits song that feels like, okay, this could have been on a Tenacious D album. And Jason Momoa, you like him or you don't. I've honestly not seen a whole lot of movies with him in it. I think he might be a gamer a little bit in real life too. He's playing the lovable loser of a gamer who can't let it go. And he thinks he's God's gift, which I know a lot of people in real life think he is. But obviously nobody in the movie has any kind of interest. They all think he's kind of he's a real douche. There's really odd segments in the real world with Jennifer Coolidge as the principal of the school, who gets established in that aspect. One of the dudes just wanders out of the village through the portal into the real world, and we see it in the trailer. She hits him with the car. And I was like, oh, I know where they're going to go with this. And I was actually kind of surprised by some of the innuendos that they threw in with these scenes, which I think were literally there as transition points. Okay, the characters just escaped some harrowing thing. Now we got to transition to a little 60-second cutaway segment of a B story. So now the characters can reappear somewhere else and we tell you how they got there. But like, there is that one line, like before they go in there, Jason Momoa's character has to pretend to be the kid's uncle at the school to get him out of trouble. And she recognizes him as the garbage man, his gaming handle. And she's like, oh, you could take out my garbage anytime. He looks at her, but just be careful because it's full of raccoons. And I'm like, what was that about? Like, that is so not appropriate, or it's just so nonsensical. And there's a lot of writing like that. It's a quick joke for joke's sake.
Yeah, so it's funny because, the grandkids were on the edge of their seat the whole time. And even during that point, they're just like, okay, what's going to happen next? Yeah. So they didn't really, it all just went right over their head. But honestly, for me, I love Jennifer Coolidge. And I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. Those are some of the funniest lines I laughed at. Since everything else was going over my head, I was like, okay, good. Something for me to actually understand.
Right. Well, that's the thing. They were trying to touch on stuff for the kids and the parents.
Yeah. So for video game movies, right? We've had 2 recent ones. Not Sonic. Sonic is in its own realm of amazingness. But this and Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Again, my youngest kids, I hear about it all the time. They own all the plushies. They know all the lore. They buy all the books. I mean, I couldn't send them to college because I can't afford all the Minecraft and Five Nights at Freddy's merch that I've had to purchase over the years, right? I went into Five Nights at Freddy's knowing very, very little about it. They drop some, oh, you might need to know this, Dad, or you might need to whatever. Okay, whatever. That built what I thought was a really good story for a movie and kind of held my hand through it without being so in the face and giving enough fan service because they walked out going, that was so good and blah, 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 right? This one to me felt like most of the fan service either was because it was in the trailer. So the fans were like, it was in the trailer. He said the thing is a clear thing, right? Or Or I just, because the game, I didn't play the game, most of the, I mean, they were losing their minds over
chicken jockey.
Did your audience erupted with that part? Because I've seen videos with that.
the whole audience lost their mind.
Well, I was curious about that because I remember hearing about Chicken Jockey before. I was like, why is that so special to the game or the movie? And if you do a search on YouTube, there are people who have like 9 and 15-hour streams where I'm not logging off until I get the Chicken Jockey to spawn. So apparently, I looked at the actual like recorded percentages. It's like less than 0.3% for one thing to spawn, and then on top of that spawn, another thing has like a 0.2% of a chance to happen. And if those two things happen, you get Chicken Jockey. I get that's cool in the game, but I understand. I like when they throw nods to stuff I am deeply invested in.
I do think having some familiarity with Minecraft does help for this movie more than like Five Nights at Freddy's did. And one
Agreed.
reason why, there was a YouTuber that was big in the Minecraft YouTube community. They make mention of him in the movie, and Jack Black says he wasn't just a king, he was a legend. And that actually hit me because I knew the story behind that character and why they brought that character into the movie, because he had died of cancer back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And so knowing that really made that impactful. But if I didn't know that,
and I didn't, and I think I know where you're talking about, but yeah, that was just a weird line I didn't know what. So that's
right?
it. So we're exact dichotomy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so my kids told me about it, saying he was going to make an appearance. They didn't know how or whatever. So having that was really important for that moment to make any sense whatsoever. And I felt that that's a lot of the problems I had for me in Minecraft. I didn't know enough for some of these jokes, some of these moments that the people were so excited about to pay off. Whereas Five Nights at Freddy's, I knew nothing, and I still came out feeling like I got almost everything. Sure, there would be some inside jokes or inside whatevers, but I felt like I missed a lot of this movie. Like, none of it made sense because they relied so heavily on that to push the narrative or push whatever.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. And I can see that. I knew, I guess, a little bit more than you going in, but you're right. You can't get attached to it because, okay, he's pointing and he's building stuff. Why is that cool? You know, every time they punch on something or pickaxe it and it turns into a small floating cube and they pick it up. And then there's that one silly joke where the sister tries to do it and she takes that one cube and she throws it in the water and goes, boat magic. And then the cube, the wood expands into a cube and just floats there. And the other character with them, she goes like, you're the worst at doing this, and walks off. And that's about the level of jokes. And that's like, okay, yeah, if you enjoy Minecraft and play it, you get the idea. Some people can build really good things. And some people, like I would suck at building things. I can see it in my head. I can't even draw a stick figure in real life. I'm going to have I want to make a house. And for some reason, it's going to be on an angle and the roof is going to fall off. But I think throughout the movie, right, they put a few things in. I asked you to double check when you saw it. They go into the Minecraft town, all the villagers with the noses, all the Squidwards, basically. And they specifically said they're vegetarians, yet they have Jack's Chicken Shack because, hey, we got to make the joke about lighting the chickens on fire with lava and turning them into chicken. Right. There was like those little things, like they have a checklist of Minecraft, and that really appeals to the players of the game. But to somebody else, it was a reason for Jack Black to have a little solo where he's singing his Steve's Chicken Shack theme song. Yeah. So I think, yeah, you're right. It does an okay job of telling some stuff, but I really think if you go in seeing it, because it's Minecraft, it's hype, my kids play it, I have no idea what's going on, you're not going to walk out of it knowing much more than you began with. And in fact, the kids will probably tell the things that are wrong with it anyway. And there's a serious lack of building. They really didn't use the building for anything.
That's true. One thing I will say, though, so the negatives of what they were doing, like you're saying, they're just tossing and saying, you know, show them how to make the chicken and show them how to do this and whatnot. A good fan service was the water bucket. They showed it, explained it, and then it was used again later in the movie.
What did you think of the acting overall?
Okay, so the acting overall was as good as I thought they could do for a Minecraft movie. Didn't hate Jack Black at all. He was fine. I was actually kind of, you know, I figured, you know, it's silly. It's supposed to be silly. You know, you know, whatever. Momoa was take him or leave him. I don't care. You know, but I didn't think it was terrible. Thought the sister and the real estate agent were kind of wasted character space. Just they didn't do
They
much.
didn't really have an arc.
Well, they go off and do their own thing for a bit. All the action is around the kid. So why were they in there? I don't know. But for what they did, they were fine. It's not like they were terrible. It's just their story arc was not very emotional.
I think it fit the movie. I think it was okay. I mean, it's geared toward kids, and I'm gonna take this off the rails a little bit, but I looked it up before we started. It's estimated to make $157 million on opening weekend.
That's a lot of nuts!
On a $150 million budget. And not making judgments here, but I double checked. Snow White has yet to break 100 million.
That's not good enough.
And that movie had triple the price tag by the time you talk about marketing and budgeting. And I think it kind of just goes to the point that all people want is entertaining movies about something they enjoy, whether they enjoy it now or they enjoyed it a decade ago. Or, I mean, again, Minecraft has been out for a long time. So people have grown up with that. People who were 5 are probably in their 20s now or whatnot. And so that's something you remember from childhood, and you want it to be what you remember. There is an after credit scene that 100% sets up a sequel. And I can't imagine that after the studios watching the success of Sonic, like, we got a series of Minecraft in here. What worries me is Minecraft is a game about your imagination. It's about as much as you can think to build that's personal to you. It isn't like, here's quest 1, go build a house with 4 windows. Okay, quest 2, you do what you want throughout the thing. So if they return to the world, what is going to be different? Because Minecraft hasn't evolved as a game as far as storyline. I know there's a dragon at the end of fight because I was privileged to join Travis's son as he showed me how we could defeat the dragon. So yes, you can revisit the world of Minecraft, and maybe now you focus it more on structures and design, because if you just run the same trick again, I think it'll sell. People will go see it. It's how many times can you see these same characters or other characters point at things and build, and there's only so much lore you can dig into. I don't think Minecraft is going to go down as a bad movie or a great movie. It's going to be the Minecraft movie. That's probably all they wanted to get out of it. And they certainly got their money, and they're going to move more merch because of it. Let me say this. I doubt anybody's watching this far into it. I don't know if you know who he was, but I'm going to ruin this. I don't care. When the villager finally speaks in the first post-credit scene, and it's Matt Berry doing the voice, I now believe that any animated feature just needs to have Matt Berry in it, because the way he delivers some lines, he was amazing in the IT Crowd. He was incredible in What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series. Everything he does is hilarious. And you want to talk about ASMR, they could just do Matt Berry ASMR. The way he reads lines and delivers things so awkwardly, it's perfect. So that was my favorite part, was the very end when he opens up his mouth and delivers a soliloquy, and it's Matt Berry. Any final thoughts for you on that one?
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It wasn't for me, but that's okay. Not every movie's going to be for me, right? And so my grandkids did not stop talking about it. I told them they have to go and make sure that they tell their parents when we got home everything about the movie, each one of them, so that they could stay up all night long talking about it. And I heard that they did, because they really, really did enjoy it. And that's all that really mattered. The target audience seems to have resonated with them. And that's a successful film then, right? I mean,
absolutely.
So
they put some thought into what they were doing to try and make it more than just a cash grab. And maybe they succeeded at both. Who knows? We'll see when Minecraft 2 Return of the Piggies comes out. And Jack Black never has to sing a Tenacious D song again, or probably just do a Jumanji film in between. He's gonna be the next video game superhero that they tried to make Chris Pratt. He was Bowser, now he's Steve. Where does he go from here? Next thing he's gonna be Frogger or Dig Dug. I could get behind a Jack Black as Dig Dug in the suit. Time to pop! I don't know.
Ah, good evening, sir. Can I interest you in a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?